Justice Laura Bird heard arguments from the Crown and defense in the sentencing hearing of convicted art fraudster Jeff Cowan, the 50-year-old Niagara-area man who represented himself in trial and was found guilty by a jury of selling mimicked works of Indigenous artist Norval Morrisseau as part of an art fraud ring that involved hundreds of purported forgeries his co-accused said were sourced from Cowan. Without the assistance of a lawyer and choosing not to testify during his 2-month trial, Cowan has now hired Toronto appeal lawyers Nathan Gorham and Breana Vandebeek, who made arguments on what the court should consider before sentencing Cowan, who along with Jim White and David Paul Bremner was the third man convicted in Barrie last year of fraud charges involving forged Morrisseau works. Cowan was found guilty in November of 4 counts of fraud, convicted of passing off purported works of the man widely considered the grandfather of contemporary Indigenous artwork in Canada.
When you shift your consciousness to there, then you're able to paint.
Unanimously, all 12 jurors decided the Crown proved beyond a reasonable doubt Cowan was guilty of uttering forged documents, defrauding the public, and 2 customers out of property valued at more than $5,000, with Cowan being the source of works that flooded the market. The defense argues Cowan was not involved in the sophisticated planned production and distribution of forged paintings, as the Crown suggests. Cowan telling the court during trial he acquired many of his pieces from his late uncle. Gorham asking the court to allow Cowan to now testify and explain he wasn't part of a larger art fraud ring, as alleged by the prosecution. The Crown proved beyond a reasonable doubt Cowan committed fraud involving hundreds of paintings he knew were forgeries or knowingly provided buyers false provenance, which is relied upon in the art world to trace ownership of works back to an artist to establish the works are authentic. The defense will argue at most the Crown proved Cowan might have been willfully blind when dealing a few pieces of art for which he was found guilty of fraud. Cowan's sentencing hearing is scheduled to continue next week. Mike Arsleedy, CTV News, Barrie.